Status report now. Commander Varric Thorn's demand cut through the static-laden air of the War Council chamber, his voice harsh and unyielding as he stepped forward, boots striking the steel deck with a muted crack. The room, a hexagonal space ringed by data consoles and filled with the faint clicks of status indicators, was filled with men who understood the stakes without needing to be reminded. Admiral Drenkal's eyes narrowed as he studied the flickering images on the projection grid above the table. Dominion blockade platforms have fully engaged, long-range channels severed. No civilian broadcast getting through, Commander. They've cut Earth off completely. The projection grid mapped the positions of the alien structures in blue-red arcs, each symbol pulsing like a warning heartbeat. Through the thick port windows behind Thorn, Earth hung against the starfield. A blue sphere swaddled in the harsh glow of the blockade's energy arrays. Counselor Arin Voss shifted, the smooth metal of his uniform's ceremonial collar catching the low illumination of the chamber. His voice was level, yet the weight in it was unmistakable. "We've sent our final appeal," their envoy spat it back in our faces. "No negotiation, no settlement, only surrender." Thorn's jaw tightened. His eyes, a shade of unyielding steel, swept across the men in the room, every one of them bearing the strain of knowing this was Earth's final line. "Then we will not yield," he said, his voice even, every word biting the cold air. "They want us to kneel. We will show them the measure of our refusal." The council chamber felt confined, the walls pressed in by the magnitude of the decision hanging in the air. The Dominion's ships hung beyond the viewports, their angular hulls blotting out the stars like jagged blades in the dark. Outside, the glow of the blockade's charged grid pulsed an unbroken perimeter around Earth, its presence a suffocating cage of light and power. Admiral Cole's breath caught, the weight of the moment pressing on his chest. "Commander, with our comms severed, Earth's population has no idea what's coming. We must prepare them." Thorn's eyes never left the projection grid as he spoke, each word methodical. They will hear our final broadcast on the secure uplink, every city, every outpost. They will understand that this is not a surrender. This is our line in the dust, our refusal to be ruled. He moved to the edge of the council table, his hand resting on the cold alloy surface. "Arin, prepare the script. Keep it short. No bluster, no appeals to hope. Let them know the choice we've made. Let them see the clarity of it." Counselor Voss nodded once, his lips set in a firm line. "I'll see to it." The chamber's atmosphere thickened as technicians adjusted the data feed. Red warning glyphs flickered on their handheld pads, updates in real time as Dominion battlecruisers repositioned along the blockade's outer edge. A low whine of power capacitors building for planetary bombardment cracked the air, an ominous throb that set teeth on edge. Thorn's gaze shifted to the viewport. The blockade's ships formed a ring of glinting hulls, each one larger than any human craft. Alien dreadnoughts, bristling with weapon emplacements and defense fields that shimmered like spiderwebs of white-blue light. They were an empire's hammer, poised to crush the last breath of Earth's defiance. He turned back to Cole, his tone cutting through the weight in the air. "Our broadcast will reach them before the hour is done. They want Earth to tremble. Let them see the face of a people who refuse to yield." Admiral Cole nodded once, the hard lines of his face set like stone. "I'll begin encryption handoff to the secure relay. No Dominion scanner will touch it." The technicians worked the console in measured rhythm, the glow of tactical overlays shifting as new data streamed in. Fleet positions, energy fluctuations, Dominion command nodes. Each update was met with a cold glance, no wasted motion, every breath measured. Counselor Voss stepped to a smaller console, entering the final phrases of the declaration. His voice, though calm, carried a note of finality that left no room for doubt. "People of Earth," he read quietly, testing the weight of each word. "Our choice is made. We will not bow. We will not cede our world to foreign rule. Stand ready." Thorn watched him a moment, then nodded once. "Record it, broadcast it, then seal it." The tension in the room tightened, the air a charged current. Each man present understood the gravity of what would be spoken, the irrevocable line that would be crossed. As the relay engaged, Thorn stepped back from the table, his posture straight and unflinching. The Dominion's ships outside were motionless no longer. Data glyphs flashed in warning as they realigned for bombardment drills. No spoken threats. Only the brutal logic of final conquest. Cole's voice broke the moment. "Commander, the Dominion's response will be swift. Their envoy made that clear." Thorn's expression didn't waver. "Let them come. Every ship they send will see what it means to demand Earth's submission." The relay clicked. Final data locks engaging. Voss's message was no plea, no appeals for mercy. It was a final statement, cold and unsparing. He stepped away from the console, his voice steady. "The final transmission is encoded and ready." Thorn nodded, then walked to the viewport again. Outside, the Dominion's blockade glowed, an unbroken circle of power that had once seemed unassailable. He studied the array, not with fear, but with the calm of a man who had weighed the price and accepted the weight. He turned back to his men, his voice carrying the iron calm of final resolve. "Prepare the fleet for immediate standby. The next move will be ours." The room's overhead lamps cast harsh shadows across the steel deck, the edges of consoles catching the light like sharpened blades. Fingers worked control interfaces. Men traded clipped orders. Every movement carried a purpose. There was no room left for doubt or second thoughts. Cole keyed a sequence into his panel, data glyphs shifting as he locked the fleet's fire control into active standby. "All units standing by, awaiting your word." Thorn stepped back to the command table, his eyes steady as he took in the data overlays. "Let the Dominion see our defiance. Every captain will hold that line, no deviation." The weight of the coming battle settled over the room like a heavy shroud. Beyond the viewports, the Dominion's ships drifted in ordered rows, their energy profiles spiking as they readied for bombardment. The air felt dense in the War Council chamber, each breath a measured moment between resolve and ruin. Thorn's voice cut the quiet once more, a calm verdict that brooked no argument. "Activate the final broadcast." The relay pulsed green, the final message flaring out through the Dominion's jamming fields on coded frequencies that no alien scanner could breach. As the data streamed, Thorn's gaze remained fixed on the alien blockade beyond the hull. His voice was low, edged with the iron certainty of a man who would not be moved. "Earth's final line has been drawn." A technician's fingers danced across the console, locking the transmission's final checksum in place. He exhaled a single, steady breath. "Transmission complete, Commander. Earth knows. The choice is made." Thorn gave no final speech, no final words of comfort. He only turned, his posture unbowed, and stepped forward. "Then we stand ready." The last line carried the weight of every choice they had made, every sacrifice they had accepted. Outside, the Dominion's ships shifted in the dark, their weapons warming for the next hour's threat. In the council chamber, Earth's final answer was locked and sealed. No illusions, no retreat. Only the cold certainty of the line they had chosen to hold. Commander Varric Thorn's boots struck the council chamber's cold alloy floor as he moved to the head of the table. Every movement deliberate and weighted with finality. The room held the scent of recycled air and the warmth of bodies pressed in close confines. Men of Earth's last fleet gathered to decide whether to stand or vanish. The table itself was scattered with Dominion encryption shards, their alien glyphs glinting faintly in the low lighting, a stolen prize that was Earth's only advantage. Around it sat the fleet's captains, their faces marked by sleepless nights and the iron ring of duty. Admiral Drin Cole leaned forward, fingers spread against the table's ridged edge. His voice, usually a measured calm, carried a brittle edge that betrayed the churn beneath. "Commander, you're proposing to let them believe we're finished, a full collapse, our ships drifting without order. You're asking us to abandon any sign of control in front of the Dominion." Thorn's eyes held steady on the encryption shards, the lines of his face drawn but resolute. "I'm asking you to understand that to the Dominion, our existence is a convenience they intend to erase. They see us as nothing more than an obstacle. We must give them a victory so complete that their guard drops. Then we show them what waits beneath that illusion. Cole's jaw worked. The tension in his shoulders mirrored in the shallow lines bracketing his mouth. "You're using our last fleet as bait," he said flatly. "Not bait," Thorn answered, his tone steady. "A deception. Our final chance to make them commit everything." Across the table, Counselor Aaron Voss watched with a narrowed gaze, his breath visible in the cool, recycled air. The council chamber had been stripped of ornament long ago. No banners, no tokens of power, only the hard edges of survival. The Dominion envoy's last words were clear. Voss said, each syllable carrying the weight of Earth's battered pride. "They do not see us as worthy of negotiation. If they see collapse, they'll press forward with everything they have. That's the only moment they'll be vulnerable, when they believe the war is already done." The room was silent but for the occasional flicker of data glyphs on handheld pads. The captains sat rigid, the glint of rank insignias on their shoulders catching the flickering light. Each man weighed the balance of risk, the tightrope walk between survival and obliteration. Captain Aaron Holt, the youngest at the table, shifted his shoulders back, a single breath steadying his voice. "You're saying we let them see us break so we can strike when they're blind with triumph?" Thorn's gaze met his without hesitation. "We let them see what they want to see," he said. "Then we take their certainty and turn it to ash." Admiral Cole's eyes dropped to the encryption shards, his thumb brushing over a line of alien text etched into the dark surface. "We've seen how their fleet moves, the command signals they use to align their blockade. These codes? Are you certain we can weave the false data through them?" Thorn's reply was immediate. Project Rook was built for this. Dominion networks rely on layered control signals. These codes will let us feed them a scenario so convincing they'll believe it's their own triumph unfolding. Voss gave a slow nod, his expression taut. "Then the risk becomes whether our men can hold the line while we play this game. If the Dominion sees through it." Thorn's voice was low, stripped of any hint of hope or delusion. "They will not. Every step, every signal will be checked and cross-checked. The feint will be complete. Because it must be." Cole let out a slow exhale, his fingers flexing against the table's surface. "And if it fails? Then Earth dies," Thorn said, his tone flat. "But we will not let it fail." The weight of the words hung heavy, pressing on shoulders and tightening throats. The room felt smaller in that moment, the recycled air close and almost stale, each breath drawn against the stark reality of what they faced. Thorn's gaze moved to each man in turn, his voice never rising but carrying the finality of command. "We stand at the edge of ruin because we have no other ground to hold. If we do not shape the enemy's vision of this war, we will have no war left to fight." Captain Holton swallowed, the corner of his mouth ticking with the effort to hold his voice level. "I trust your plan, Commander, but I need to know, are our crews ready? Can they play this role without breaking?" Thorn's expression did not waver. "They are men of Earth's last fleet. They understand the stakes. We will give them orders and a single chance. They will take it because there is no other choice." The table creaked under the weight of Cole's shifting weight as he leaned back, the low whir of a vent in the corner the only background noise. "Then, we do this," he said finally, his voice hollow with the cost of the decision. "We show them collapse and use that window to end this blockade." Voss nodded, fingers tapping once against the edge of the table. "The broadcast to our people is already finished. I will prepare the civilian contingencies. Limited power reserves, ration protocols. They must believe what the Dominion believes." Thorn's lips tightened in a thin line. "Let them see only weakness, only defeat. It will make our strike the final thing they never expect." Around the table, heads lifted, eyes meeting in hard agreement. No one voiced false confidence. No one spoke of inevitable victory. Only the cold math of survival guided their resolve. "Then it's decided," Thorn said, his voice hard and without ceremony. "The Dominion will believe Earth has fallen. In that moment, they will be the ones who are blind." The Dominion encryption shards on the table gleamed with captured data, the alien glyphs a final reminder of the razor's edge they would walk. Thorn reached out, his fingers brushing over the cold surface. "Every shard they use to chain us will become the blade that cuts them down," he said quietly. The chamber's door slid open as a technician stepped in, the scent of ozone-free air filters filling the space briefly. He carried the final tactical data feed, his expression a mix of resolve and the quiet terror of a man who understood the margin of error. "Commander, the simulation overlays are loaded," the technician said, voice clipped. "Final confirmation of code interlace. No gaps, no echoes. We can begin when you give the order." Thorn's eyes met Cole's, the shared understanding of risk and purpose passing in that glance. He turned back to the technician, his words cold and final. "Begin transmission of the false collapse scenario to the fleet captains. Each ship's commander will receive direct orders. They are to show retreat in every move, every broadcast." The technician gave a curt nod and withdrew, leaving the council chamber again, shrouded in the charged stillness of purpose. Thorn stepped back from the table, his gaze sweeping the room. "Every captain will understand. This is not a defeat. This is the strike they will never see coming." Voss inclined his head, his voice low. "I will see to the civilian broadcast. The last message before the feint begins." The room held a breath. Then Cole spoke, his voice stripped of all but the core of duty. "We're ready, Commander." Thorn turned his back to the table and stepped forward, his shoulders set in the unwavering posture of a man who knew what must be done. "Then let the Dominion believe in our collapse," he said. "When they come to claim their triumph, they will find the blade waiting." Commander Varric Thorn's hand hovered over the final transmission switch, fingers steady despite the relentless hammer of Dominion data pulses that rattled the control consoles. In the chamber's low red glow, every breath felt like a measured choice. His eyes never left the shifting glyphs on the data feed, the Dominion's battlenet stuttering as Project Rook began its infiltration. At his left, Admiral Drin Call worked his console with deliberate focus, each stroke of his fingers sending Earth's false retreat signatures deeper into Dominion channels. His brow was damp, sweat gathering at his temples beneath the harsh light, but his voice was firm as he read out the Dominion fleet's latest formation change. "They're pulling forward, Commander." "They're convinced." Deep crackle of static crossed the data line, then the Dominion's command matrix shifted again. Red lines of data streaming down the console's main display. High Executor Jor Varric's flagship pushed into the forward formation, leading the Dominion's full strength toward Earth's false retreat corridor. Cole's eyes narrowed as he watched the lines of Dominion ships arc forward, the data feed alive with energy signatures. "They're devouring the scenario, Commander. Every false broadcast we inject they take as truth. The trap is holding." Thorn's lips tightened. "Keep weaving the data. Each new vector must be sharper than the last. They must believe we're breaking, that every line of defense is a crack in our will." Operators hunched at their stations, eyes wide and fingers moving in an unbroken dance across their consoles. The air carried the subtle tang of recycled oxygen and the faint heat of overworked circuitry. Each man's breath was steady, but the tension in their shoulders spoke of the strain. At the room's edge, Captain Arraigned Holt watched the false fleet collapse unfold, his jaw set hard enough to ache. "Dominion sensors will probe harder with every minute. We're walking a blade's edge here, Commander." Thorn didn't glance up from the shifting data, his voice cutting through the room with the weight of finality. "That blade is the only thing keeping Earth alive, Captain. Keep your line tight. There's no room to slip." Outside the viewports, the Dominion blockade was no longer a static ring. It shifted in real time, alien warships surging forward as Dominion crews misread every flicker of Earth's false retreat. Their vessels reformed tight hunting groups, their battle signals pulsing through the void in bright staccato bursts. Cole's console chimed a low alarm. Dominion countermeasure signals, testing the data feed. He leaned in closer, his voice low as he worked. "Dominion subcommanders are cross-referencing fleet orders. They're hunting for ghosts." If they find even one false echo out of place, this all comes apart. Thorn's fingers drummed once against the console before stilling. Then we give them nothing to find. Every vector, every echo, make it real enough to taste. The council chamber felt smaller now, the overhead lights a dull glow that left every man's face half in shadow. Fingers moved across keys and toggles, voices dropping to hushed tones as though the Dominion's eyes could pierce the bulkheads and hear their doubts. Captain Holton's throat bobbed as he forced the words out. "Sir, Dominion long-range scans are showing gaps in our retreat line. They're calling them victory corridors." A thin smile creased Thorn's mouth, gone as quickly as it came. "Good. Let them believe they've found the path to Earth's heart." Every breath in the chamber was measured as the Dominion's mainframe overlay flickered across the console screens. Alien glyphs twisted in alien logic, each line of data a potential betrayal of Earth's last defense. The Dominion's probe signals clawed at Earth's data shadows, looking for flaws in the retreat narrative. Cole's brow furrowed as he leaned closer to his display, the light of shifting data reflecting off the hard lines of his face. "Commander, Dominion battle groups have launched partial probes into the retreat zone. Small-scale engagements. They're testing for backbone." Thorn's voice was as cold as the steel deck beneath his boots. "Our ships will give them what they expect. Controlled skirmishes. A little fight to keep them convinced, but never enough to reveal the blade behind the mask." Operators worked the comm relays in tight rotations, their voices clipped and focused. "Skirmish orders confirmed. Outer perimeter ships will fire minimal defensive bursts only. Pull them deeper." The room was a study in human resolve, the scent of sweat and the warm tang of high-power electronics hanging close. Outside the thick viewports, Earth's ships drifted in feigned retreat, their courses shifting with calculated randomness to lure the Dominion in. Captain Holton watched the skirmish feed, his knuckles white against the console edge. "They're biting hard, Commander. Dominion ships are pushing in, overconfident. They think we're running." Thorn's gaze locked on the data, no flicker of emotion, no tremor in his voice. "Let them think it. Every step they take into that corridor is a step closer to the kill line." A flicker of static cut through the council chamber as Dominion counterpings hit Earth's data manipulation layer. Operators tensed, one man's breath catching as he double-checked the encryption buffers. "Signal distortion compensated," the operator reported, his voice low and tight. "Dominion probe signals neutralized. They see only what we want them to see." Thorn's hand tightened around the transmission switch, his skin cool against the composite grip. His eyes never wavered from the feed, the Dominion's looming presence an unspoken challenge. "Keep them locked in this dance. The deeper they come, the fewer paths they'll have back." Cole's fingers flicked across his console in a rapid sequence, Dominion fleet overlays shifting with every keystroke. "Commander, Dominion secondary command ships are broadcasting victory affirmations. They're blind to the trap." Thorn's mouth set in a hard line. "Then Earth's final hour begins not with a clash, but with this deception. Hold every ship to the script." In the corner, a technician shifted, his breath shallow as he relayed fleet-wide orders. "Commander, all Earth ships confirm false retreat pattern, outer perimeter complete, inner line standing by for feigned breakdown maneuvers." Thorn's eyes swept the room, each man's face etched with the cold weight of what they carried. "We are the architects of the final illusion," he said, his voice never rising. "They believe in our ruin. Let them." Outside the viewport, the Dominion's lead ships pressed deeper, their data echoes laced with arrogance. Their movements carried the staccato beat of an empire certain of conquest. Inside, Earth's operators worked in absolute concentration. Each screen displayed the alien war signals shifting, each line of code a final strand in the snare they wove. Cole's final update was a quiet certainty. "Commander, Project Rook's transmission buffers are at maximum load. If the Dominion sensors catch a ghost, there's no second chance." Thorn's hand never wavered as he gave the final order. "Then let the Dominion see the final collapse they believe is ours," he said. "And when they stand within reach, nothing will save them." Commander Varric Thorn's hand dropped to the console's final trigger, each breath deliberate in the confined control room. The chamber's red glow deepened, casting hard lines across the faces of Earth's last fleet captains. On the data overlays, Dominion command glyphs shuddered as Earth's hidden fortresses stirred in the Lagrange shadows. Admiral Drinkal's fingers danced across the firing matrix, his voice low and calm as he called out the final targeting vectors. Magnetic accelerators online, fleet-wide alignment locked. Outer ring fortresses are ready. The control room's recycled air tasted stale and heavy, each breath carrying the electric tang of charged capacitors primed for launch. Thorne's gaze swept across the console readouts, no flicker of doubt in the movements of his officers. The final directive was alive in every breath they drew. Captain Aaron Holt's hand rested near his ship's vector console, his knuckles white. "Commander, Dominion scouts have yet to see the fortress signatures. They're caught in the false retreat corridor." "Then we begin," Thorne said, his tone a steel edge in the charged air. "Fire the accelerators. Let them see what Earth has held back." Outside, the dark shells of Earth's Lagrange fortresses shifted as magnetic rails locked in alignment. Massive cannons, buried in the hollow hearts of the fortresses, surged with power. The cold air inside those bastions vibrated under the strain of the magnetic pulse as the first projectiles launched. The silent flick of a switch giving birth to a sudden, unstoppable force. The Dominion's forward command ships lit in the displays as dataglyphs flared in sudden confusion. Shields designed for directed energy absorption cracked beneath the kinetic fury of Earth's magnetic slugs. Impact vectors punched through the alien blockade lines, the Dominion ships reeling from the sudden assault. Cole's voice was steady, each word measured as he coordinated the strike. Second wave firing, adjusting 3 degrees starboard to track Dominion reinforcement node, pushed them further back. Outside, the cold black of space was slashed by the white-hot trails of the magnetic slugs, each one tearing through the alien battle formations like blades through cloth. Dominion hull plating warped and shattered under the focused impact, fragments tumbling away as ruptured vessels struggled to maintain formation. Thorne's focus narrowed to the Dominion's command carrier, Juril Varek's flagship. The massive alien ship staggered in the data overlays, a glitch in the Dominion's proud formation. "Cole, concentrate the next wave on their flagship's stern. Force them to show us their blind side." Admiral Cole's fingers flew across the targeting console, the low vibration of the fortress's pulse cannons resonating beneath their feet. Vectors locked. Final push underway. Dominion reaction patterns flickered on the screens, their fleet's structured unity fragmenting in the face of Earth's sudden ferocity. Alien command nodes broadcast stuttering orders, data streams cut and realigned as the Dominion tried to comprehend the sudden shift. Thorne's voice cut through the moment, hard and cold. "They see us now. Let them understand. Earth does not break." Captain Holt's eyes widened as Dominion ships began to scatter, their maneuvering arcs jagged and frantic. "They are pulling back, but they're tangled in their own signals. They can't form a coherent response." Outside the command deck's reinforced viewports, the Lagrange fortresses glowed with the aftershock of magnetic discharges. Earth ships moved with lethal calm, no frantic scramble. Each vessel flowed in perfect alignment with the fortress strikes. Every pilot locked into the final script they'd practiced in secret. Cole leaned in, the glow of Dominion data overlays flickering across his face. "Commander, Juril Varek's command carrier is exposed. Their shield matrices are failing, no power left for secondary layers." Thorne's jaw tightened. "Focus fire, end the Dominion certainty." A sudden burst of data static erupted across the feed as the Dominion's flagship took the full impact of the magnetic slugs. The impact buckled its outer hull, a bright flash marking the collapse of alien defenses. Hull plates crumpled inward like crushed alloy, the ship's forward batteries falling silent as the data echoes of panic swept through the Dominion fleet. Captain Holtz's voice dropped to a rough whisper. "They never saw it coming." Thorne didn't answer. His gaze stayed locked on the Dominion's collapse, every second a quiet testament to Earth's refusal to die on alien terms. Admiral Cole's final targeting readout flared green. "Final volley on Dominion's secondary command ships. Let them taste the edge of our will. Magnetic accelerators roared to life again, their pulse shivering the deck beneath their feet. Dominion reinforcement ships crumpled under the kinetic onslaught, their carefully arranged lines disintegrating as Earth's coordinated strikes shattered their confidence. The chamber's heat rose with each surge of power, sweat beading at Holt's temple as he watched the Dominion fleet fracture. The tang of ionized air from the magnetic discharges mingled with the hard breath of men who knew they had turned the final blade. Thorne's voice, even in the heat of the moment, carried the cold authority of Earth's last stand. Push forward, let them see the price of underestimating a world that would not kneel. Dominion ships wavered in the data overlays, a scatter of red lines that no longer formed a coherent formation. Jorel Varric's command carrier drifted from its place, lights flickering across its hull as power systems failed one by one. Cole's voice was calm as he relayed the final impact coordinates. Dominion command net is collapsing, their fleet's nerve center is exposed. Thorne gave a single nod. Then end it. Every shot we fire now is the final word they thought they'd never hear. Outside, the cold black of Earth's defensive grid shone with the white arcs of magnetic fire, each shot a line of finality carved into the Dominion's arrogance. Earth's ships moved as one. No wasted shots, no gaps in their formation. The cold execution of the plan had no flourish, only the measured push of survival given shape. Captain Holton exhaled, his chest tight as the Dominion's last rearguard ships wavered under the barrage. They're breaking, Commander. They're pulling back, blind and broken. Thorne's eyes narrowed, his voice a low promise. Let them pull back. Let them remember this moment when they believed they had won. The data overlays pulsed with Dominion signals cut short, ships tumbling back into the darkness they had come from. Earth's fleet held its line. No triumphant cry, no wild rush. Only the cold reality of survival, asserted without apology. Thorne's hand fell away from the console switch, his voice steady. Admiral, realign Earth's fleet. We hold the corridor open, but we do not chase. They must carry the weight of this defeat home with them. Admiral Cole gave a single nod, his eyes never leaving the data feeds. Understood. Earth holds the line. Dominion will not soon forget. Outside, Earth's magnetic cannons cooled in the Lagrange shadows, the air around them shimmering faintly in the aftermath of the final barrage. In the council chamber, each man's breath came a little easier, the first full breath of a world that had chosen to fight on its own terms. Commander Varric Thorne stood at the main console, the chill of the recycled air blending with the residual heat of Earth's final strikes. The Dominion's retreat was still etched across the data overlays, red glyphs of crippled warships drifting from the lines Earth had held. His eyes narrowed as a new transmission pulsed into the feed. Dominion Envoy Channel, encrypted but forced open by Earth's captured codes. Admiral Drin Cole's hand hovered near the console's master control key, his knuckles taut as he waited. Commander, Dominion Envoy is signaling. They're demanding a channel. Put it through, Thorne said, his voice stripped of any flourish, the weight of survival giving each word its shape. The main display flickered to life, the Dominion envoy's face materializing in the cold white glow of the comms array. High Executor Jorel Varric, the same alien who had ordered Earth's compliance with unshaken confidence hours before, now watched Earth's command room with a mask of command that showed the first signs of fracture. Human Commander, Varric said, his voice a low echo in the chamber, eyes cold as he tried to reclaim the weight of authority. Your fleet's assault has been noted. Your aggression has crossed the final line. Stand down and offer your surrender terms, or the Dominion will erase your world from the star maps. Thorne's mouth tightened, his voice measured and stripped of any echo of desperation. Executor, there will be no terms. You have 12 hours to withdraw every Dominion ship beyond Earth's outer orbit. If you remain, you will not leave this system alive. A flicker of disbelief crossed Varric's eyes, his mouth twitching as he fought to keep the mask in place. You overstep, Commander. Earth's defiance is a candle in the dark. One final push from the Dominion will see you swept aside. Thorn cut across the alien's words, his tone flat as steel. 12 hours. Leave now, or Earth's fleet will erase every ship you have left. That is the only truth you'll hear from us. The room was a measured calm, the low murmur of operators adjusting fleet vectors the only sound. Outside the viewports, Earth's ships held formation, no show of aggression, no retreat. They waited with the calm of a people who had already measured the cost and accepted it. Varek's jaw worked as he searched for a threat that would matter. His eyes shifted to the Dominion data stream on his end. Lines of alien text flickering with status updates of a fleet in retreat and disarray. His breath caught, a momentary fracture in the projection of control. "You have no idea what you invite," Varek hissed, his voice dropping to a cold growl. "The Dominion has crushed entire civilizations that dared such defiance. You will not be the first to learn the price of..." Thorn's hand moved to the console, fingers locking the final targeting matrices into active alignment. His voice was quiet, but every word carried the weight of Earth's final resolve. "You are out of time, Executor. 12 hours. Leave or be reduced to drifting wrecks. This is Earth's last word." The Dominion envoy fell silent, the mask of command cracking as his eyes darted to the shifting data glyphs in the Dominion overlay. Ships blinking offline, battle groups in full retreat. He knew the bluff had failed. Captain Aaron Holt watched the alien's face, his voice low as he spoke to Thorn. "He sees it, sir. They've never faced an enemy that won't kneel." Varek's eyes narrowed, his voice a last attempt to cling to dignity. "We will not be driven back by a world that should already be dust. Earth is nothing in the span of our reach." Thorn's expression did not change. His reply was calm and final. "Then you will be nothing in the span of Earth's final defense." A technician's voice cut through the moment, quiet and factual. "Commander, all Dominion ships in local orbit are locked by our targeting arrays. Weapons are live. Orders?" Thorn's eyes stayed locked on the Dominion envoy, his tone even. "Executor, consider this your demonstration." His hand tapped the final authorization key. Outside the viewports, Earth ships shifted in seamless unity. Magnetic acceleration cannons aligned with Dominion flagship engines. A muted thud of the weapon's discharge sent a faint vibration through the deck, a cold promise of what was to come. Dominion command carriers flickered in the overlays, engine cores shattering under the kinetic assault. Hull breaches tore through the alien ships, power signatures dropping as command links failed in cascading waves. Varek's eyes widened in the display, his mouth opening with a sound that carried no command at all. The glow of data glyphs across his face painted the truth he could no longer deny. Cole's voice was low and even. "Target demonstration complete. Dominion command ships have been disabled. Engines offline, no pursuit vector possible." Thorn gave a single nod. His eyes never left Varek's as he spoke the final words. "Your hourglass has turned, Executor. 12 hours. Leave Earth's sky, or leave your dead in it." Varek's transmission blinked off, the final image of his face caught between pride and the crushing weight of reality. The console's light shifted to standby as the connection closed. In the control room, Earth's captains watched the data overlays settle, Dominion ships adrift, their command signals broken and splintered. No cries of triumph, no surge of relief. Only the cold reality that Earth's final stand had become Earth's final word. Captain Holton exhaled, the tightness in his chest easing only fractionally. "They didn't believe it could end like this," he said, voice soft but certain. Thorn's eyes were steady as he replied, "They do now." Outside, the battered Dominion fleet drifted in scattered formation, the cold dark of space swallowing their once mighty lines. Earth's targeting reticles remained locked, the unspoken promise that no mercy would be given if the Dominion lingered a moment beyond the final ultimatum. Admiral Cole's fingers moved across the console, every motion a quiet readiness. "Fleet status is stable. We hold the line. 12 hours begins now." Thorn's reflection caught in the polished black of the console glass. Eyes hard, mouth set in a thin line that offered no comfort. Every hour they stay is a choice to end here. We have given them their only chance. Outside, Earth's fleet waited. Engines on standby, magnetic cannons cooling from the final demonstration. No movement wasted, no order spoken in haste. Only the watchful stillness of men who had claimed the last word and meant every syllable of it. The Dominion's final order echoes faded from the data streams as Earth's fleet watched, the glow of targeting overlays shifting from active threat to cold surveillance. The operator's fingers moved in deliberate rhythm, no sign of haste or panic. In the command deck's recycled air there was only the scent of heat-shed electronics and the faint tang of human sweat, the lingering mark of a struggle that had reached its quiet conclusion. Commander Varric Thorn stood with his hands folded behind his back, his gaze locked on the drifting Dominion vessels beyond the reinforced viewports. The alien ships, once so imposing, floated in staggered, broken lines. Their formations, once tight and disciplined, had dissolved into jagged scatterings, each hull a testament to Earth's final refusal to yield. Admiral Dren Cole stepped to the console, his voice low as he read out the final transmission intercepts. Dominion command channels are in collapse. Secondary and tertiary control relays have gone dark. They're running on local ship directives now. No central coordination left. Captain Aaron Holt exhaled, shoulders dropping with the weight of the moment. They're leaderless, Commander. They have no fight left in them. Thorn's eyes narrowed as he watched a Dominion carrier drift across the screen, its maneuvering lights flickering as internal systems flickered without central guidance. Project Rook's data masks have held. Every step they took was dictated by the illusions we gave them. They can't see the truth of their defeat, only that they are already undone. Call's engineers moved from console to console, their voices low as they confirmed each new fragment of intercepted data. Dominion tactical chatter is fragmented. No unified command. Local captains broadcasting confusion and retraction orders. A technician relayed the final update, his fingers steady against the console. Dominion flagship group is in full drift, Commander. They're venting resources trying to preserve what little cohesion they have left. Thorn turned his head slightly, his eyes finding Counselor Aaron Voss standing near the central relay console. The counselor's expression was set, the faint lines at the corners of his mouth carved by the knowledge that Earth's final stand had become a permanent truth. Voss keyed in a sequence on the broadcast panel, his voice even. All channels set, ready to transmit Earth's final statement. Thorn nodded once. Let them hear the only terms we will ever offer again. The counselor's finger depressed the final key, and Earth's transmission cut through the last of the Dominion's scattered broadcasts. His voice carried with the weight of the entire world's quiet determination. To the Dominion ships still in Earth's orbit, your master's commands have shattered. Your only path now is to withdraw. Earth's sovereignty is not subject to negotiation. There will be no future terms, no further compromise. Outside, the Dominion fleet drifted, their hulls turning in the cold darkness. Navigation thrusters flickered along fractured battle lines, but no central will bound them anymore. Cole's eyes scanned the data feed, each line of text confirming the same truth. Their sensors still track our fleet movements, but there's no unity in the readings. They're blind to everything but the quiet certainty that they've lost. Captain Holt's gaze drifted to the viewport, his words quiet, edged with something close to awe. They came with every advantage, every weapon they believed we could never match. They're leaving because they know now Earth will never be their conquest. The air in the control room was close, but no one shifted or moved away. The calm that had settled was not relief. It was the unspoken understanding of finality. Thorn's voice was a low, even current as he spoke. Every man and every ship they brought to our sky came with the belief that Earth would kneel. They're learning that even the smallest world has teeth when it's given no other choice. Cole's fingers flexed against the edge of the console as he watched the last Dominion carrier drift, its course weaving in a slow spiral that betrayed the loss of internal alignment. They're moving without orders now. Each ship's crew clinging to what they can, no fleet to bind them. Bose keyed off the broadcast relay, the final transmission seal locking into Earth's encrypted records. "No reply," he said softly. "They've heard us. They know there's nothing left to debate." Outside the reinforced glass, Earth's orbital grid held in unbroken formation. The white running lights of the defensive stations glowed steady, each ship and platform a silent testament to the refusal to yield. No taunt, no declaration of triumph, only the cold surety of men who had fought until there was no question left to ask. Captain Holt's breath fogged the glass for a moment, the recycled air cooler than before. "They're turning, Commander. Dominion ships are falling back beyond the line." Thorne's voice remained steady. "Mark every withdrawal vector. Track them until the last of them crosses the edge of Earth's reach." A technician's fingers flew over the tracking console, data tags shifting as Dominion ships fell back one by one. "They are leaving in slow waves, Commander. No fight left in them." Cole's voice was a measured calm as he relayed the final data confirmation. "They came to erase Earth from memory. Now they'll carry the memory of this day back to their masters, and every word they speak of it will be a confession of failure." Thorne's hand dropped to the side of the console, every line of his posture carved from the knowledge of what they had done. They believed they would find nothing here but a final plea. They found Earth's refusal, and now they understand what it means to stand unbroken. The technician near the viewport spoke, his voice carrying the low thrum of finality. "All Dominion ships clear of our immediate targeting corridors. They're in full retreat." Thorne's gaze lingered on the drifting alien hulls, their navigational lights moving like lost beacons in the dark. "Let them go," he said softly. "Let them carry the weight of what they chose to face here." Outside, the cold glow of Earth's orbital platforms cut across the darkness, each ship holding its position in quiet resolve. The last Dominion ship twisted in a slow roll, its course bending away from Earth's gravity well, no sign of a fight left in its movement. Counselor Voss stepped back from the console, his voice a measured finality. "Earth's declaration is complete. Our last word has been spoken." Thorne's eyes moved to each man in the room, his voice low and sure. "Then we hold watch. The Dominion will remember this day. Earth's refusal, written in the cold dark." Outside, the orbital grid glowed in steady readiness. In the command deck, there were no cheers, no laughter. Only the weight of what had been done, the final line that had been drawn and held. Earth's last stand was no longer a hope or a desperate reach. It was an established fact, carved in the memory of every drifting ship that had come to see the world they could not bend. Commander Varric Thorne leaned against the cool edge of the command console, his gaze fixed on the final withdrawal markers blinking off the data overlay. The last Dominion ships had slipped past Earth's gravity line, leaving only the battered memory of what they had tried to conquer. The deck beneath his boots thrummed with the low energy of Earth's fleet. Still armed, still watching, every captain's hand steady on the control. Admiral Drencall stepped closer, a data slate held in his left hand. The green glow of the ship's status readouts cut across his lined face, each figure a cold record of what Earth had paid for its survival. "Final tally is in," he said quietly, his voice stripped of ceremony. 3 defense platforms offline, 12 ships damaged, 24 dead across the fleet. Another 43 wounded. Thorne let out a slow breath, the taste of the recycled air dry against the back of his throat. "Each one known to us," he said, his voice low. "Each one given, because Earth asked for nothing less." Call's jaw tightened as he set the data slate on the console, the numbers stark against the backdrop of a fleet that still held every line it had claimed. "We can repair the ships, reinforce the grid, but the men—" He let the words trail off, the finality of it written in the weight of his posture. Thorne's eyes moved over the quiet deck. Operators moved with deliberate care, no hurried gestures. Each man knowing the Dominion's retreat was no promise of peace. Their voices were measured, their bodies carrying the faint ache of long hours under the glare of readiness. Captain Aaron Holt approached, his steps carrying the faint hitch of exhaustion, eyes shadowed but alert. "Commander, targeting matrices have been reset. We hold every approach corridor, every fallback vector, no Dominion craft within Earth's reach. Thorn nodded once, the faint sound of his boots shifting on the deck plating the only movement in the quiet. Then Earth holds. And Earth watches. He turned his gaze back to the viewports. Beyond the glass, the dark sky was studded with the glint of damaged hulls, scars of the battle that had played out without mercy. Some of Earth's ships bore streaks of carbon scoring, the long shadows of impact trails marking where Dominion fire had touched them. Each scar was a line in the final ledger, a price Earth had paid in silence and steel. Cole's breath came with the low rasp of fatigue, but his eyes held steady. They believed they would find Earth's heart ready to surrender, he said. What they found was a line that would not bend. Thorn's hand moved to the console, his fingers brushing across the hard surface as he considered the data feed. The Dominion's final signals flickered and died, leaving only the quiet pulses of Earth's command net. They thought they could break the will of a world by force. All they taught us was the weight of our own survival. Voss stepped from the relay panel, his movements measured. His voice was calm, each word a quiet echo of Earth's final line. The council chamber has been sealed. Earth's sovereignty is no longer a point of debate. It's a fact, written in every ship still standing. Thorn's eyes found his, the unspoken understanding shared in that glance. No illusions, counselor. No parades or victory songs. Only the certainty that no Dominion will find purchase here again. The control room's low light caught the sheen of sweat on Cole's brow, the faint odor of hot circuitry rising from the control consoles. No scent of blood here. No triumph in the air. Only the measured calm of men who knew the difference between winning a battle and claiming a future. Captain Holton's voice cut through the quiet, low and certain. Every system reset, Commander. Each platform locked and loaded, each pilot at his station. Earth's line is set. Thorn's hand fell away from the console, his eyes sweeping the room with the cold steadiness of a man who had lived every choice he had made. Keep every ship ready, he said. We will not be caught blind again. Earth's sky will hold, and we will be its watchmen. Outside, the battered hulls of Earth's ships glowed with the cold shine of readiness. Navigational lights blinked in steady rhythm, the ships drifting in formation that spoke of quiet strength rather than threat. Cole turned back to the data slate, each line of damage reports and loss records etched in a quiet script that carried the weight of survival. Commander, every captain has sent in their final readiness confirmation. Earth's fleet stands, even if every man among us knows the cost of that stand. Thorn's hand closed around the edge of the console, his fingers flexing as he took in each name and number. They will not be forgotten, he said softly, the quiet conviction in his voice a final promise. Boss's eyes flickered with the same understanding, his shoulders square beneath the simple weight of the council insignia. Nor will the line we held. That is the lesson Earth has written in this sky. The command deck fell into a measured silence then, the low murmur of status updates the only sound. Outside, Earth's orbital grid glowed in cold arcs of readiness, no flicker of retreat in any line. Each platform and ship carried the quiet weight of those who had chosen to stand when nothing else was left. Thorn's gaze lingered on the viewports, the drifting wreckage of Dominion craft a final testament to the day's last word. His voice was even as he spoke, each syllable cut with the finality of command. We do not yield to any Dominion again, he said. The room took that final line as fact, each man's breath steady, each mind locked to the understanding that Earth's place had been claimed not with words, but with the quiet refusal to be erased. Commander Varric Thorn's eyes tracked the final Dominion ship as it cleared Earth's gravitational threshold, its engines flickering to life in a last, desperate bid to vanish from the cold weight of defeat. In the command deck, the low glow of control panels bathed the room in a soft, unwavering blue that highlighted the stark lines of every man's face. No breath was wasted on cheers or the echo of relief. The final departure was simply noted, its meaning weighed in silence and unblinking calm. Admiral Dren Cole's voice carried across the deck, steady and certain. Final Dominion withdrawal confirmed, Commander. No further signals in the system. Their command net is offline. They have nothing left to say. Thorn let the moment hang as he studied the drifting data glyphs. Each one fading was another mark on the final tally of Earth's refusal to bow. His shoulders squared, the tight line of his jaw reflecting the quiet certainty that no more would be asked of them, and no more would be given away. Captain Aaron Holt stepped forward, his movements slow, measured. Every orbital platform remains at full readiness, no movement beyond the final perimeter. They're gone, Commander. Thorn's reply came without hesitation. Maintain the watch. Let Earth's presence in this sky remain the final word they carry home. Outside the reinforced viewports, the glow of Earth's orbital grid remained unwavering. Each ship's running lights a mark of a world that had chosen to fight and would never again be told to yield. No Dominion hulls lingered beyond that line. Only the quiet drift of damaged alien wreckage. A graveyard of ambition, undone by a world's last stand. Counselor Aaron Voss approached from the rear of the chamber, his voice low but unshaken. The Council has closed the final declaration. Earth's sovereignty is no longer subject to question. The Council seal stands unchallenged. Thorn gave a single nod, the final thread of authority between military and civilian power woven tight around his words. The Council seal will not be broken. Earth's line is not to be crossed again. Cole turned back to the data readouts, each new pulse of information a reassurance that the enemy's defeat was complete. Project Rook has been retapped to passive watch mode. No active manipulation required. Earth's signals stand alone. Thorn's hand shifted across the console, the cool touch of alloy grounding him in the quiet finality of the moment. His eyes scanned the last Dominion transmissions still flickering in the archive. A final record of alien commands that had once carried the weight of empires. Each word a failed attempt to bend Earth to their will. Let them be archived, he said, his voice low but resolute. Let every line of Dominion command become a monument to the day they met a world that would not yield. Captain Holt's mouth tightened as he stared out at the quiet of the orbital grid. They'll carry this day in every council they hold, every fleet they build. Earth's refusal is no longer a rumor. It's carved into their history now. Thorn's eyes narrowed, each word measured. Then let them remember. Earth's final answer was given with no hesitation. If they return, they will find the same answer waiting for them. The command deck was quiet but not empty, each man's breath still measured, each pair of hands still ready. No comfort here, no illusions of a war ended. Only the cold understanding that Earth's place had been claimed and would be defended until the last man standing was the last word spoken. Admiral Call moved closer, his voice a quiet bridge between them. Commander, what will the Council tell the people? Thorn's jaw tightened as he considered the weight of that question. They will tell them the truth, he said after a moment. That Earth held its line, not for glory, not for conquest, but because no Dominion has the right to demand a world's silence. Voss's eyes flickered with quiet understanding, his voice low. That truth will be enough. Outside, the final Dominion echoes vanished from the sensors, the last of the alien presence reduced to drifting fragments of ambition. The orbital platforms glowed in perfect alignment, each one a promise made real in the cold dark. Thorn's gaze swept the control deck, his voice cutting through the finality of the moment. Every ship will hold station until my order says otherwise. No captain will lower his guard. The price we paid demands nothing less. Cole nodded, the gravity in his eyes an echo of every captain's oath. Understood, Commander. Earth stands watch. Thorn turned to the viewport, his reflection a hard-edged silhouette against the glow of the defense grid. His hand dropped to the final ship log, the smooth surface of the data slate cool against his palm. With deliberate care, he keyed in the final entry. No embellishment, no excess. Earth's final line stands, he read softly, each word a measured statement that needed nothing more. No dominion will cross it again. As he set the slate aside, the quiet weight of the room settled around him like the final layer of the shield they had forged. No banners marked the end of the conflict, no song of victory played in the air. Only the steady breath of men who understood what it meant to survive without bending. Outside the viewport, Earth's final silhouette glowed in the cold light of a system claimed and held. No challenge, no doubt, no lingering threat. Only the unbroken line of a people who had refused to be erased. Dorn's voice was low as he spoke the final words to the men gathered around him, each one an echo of the refusal that had carried them through. Let them remember this day, in every council they hold, in every warship they build. Let them remember Earth's final word, spoken with no fear and no apology. We do not yield. Then as the control deck settled into the measured rhythms of watchfulness once more, Earth's final watch station held firm in the cold dark. A quiet monument to the day a world spoke its last word, and meant every syllable of it. If you found Earth's stand as powerful as we did, let us know in the comments what moment struck you the hardest. Like this video, subscribe for more earth-shattering HFY stories, and share it to keep the spirit of Earth's refusal alive.